Last weekend, with my PR streak of 20 on the line, I went to two of my weirdest competitions yet, and in this video, I'm going to show you what happened. First, on Saturday, I went to Bay Area Slow Cubing, my first competition that didn't have 3x3. Instead, it had 5x5 through 7x7, 3 blind through 5 blind, and multi-blind. I wasn't too worried about my PR streak that day, so my goals were just to 1. Get a 5 blind or M blind success, and 2. Just get some decent 6 and 7 solves. The day started with 6x6 and 7x7. I chose to do 6x6 first as I didn't think I would get any PRs on it. Well, I was definitely proven wrong. I don't know why I started doing so well, but hey, I'll take it. 7x7 was also pretty good, probably because I actually started practicing recently. I also 3D printed a ball core to add extra magnets, so alignment was easier. Next were 4 blind and 5 blind, which had a cumulative time limit of 1 hour and 45 minutes. I decided to go with 5 blind first. I'd never gotten one at home, but who knew, maybe I could... Okay, well, I still had 18 minutes left for 4 blind, so maybe if I lock in and get a PB, never mind. This is probably the worst round I've ever competed in. Especially on 5 blind, I kept messing up my memorization, specifically centers, and I couldn't make it even 3 minutes into execution on either event without messing up. Afterwards, I ate a quick lunch, and it was time to set up multi-blind. I was competing in multi-blind, so I submitted my cubes and went outside, where all the people competing were talking about totally not nerdy stuff, like the, packing squares problem. This is also when Graham Sickens, the guy who has the world record in this event, told me that I looked like Lucas Eater. I didn't really get it at first, but once he pulled up a picture, I realized that I am literally his clone. Well, now I have to start grinding 3x3 until I get a 490. Finally, it was time to compete. I had submitted 4 cubes because I thought that would be the most likely way I would get a success. After lifting off the cover, I realized that these scrambles were really good. My memorization felt great, especially for the first cube I memorized, where there were 3 solved edges, something that rarely happens. After a bit over 20 minutes, I put on my blindfold and started solving. It started off slow, but I put down the first cube solved, then another, and another. It was time for the final cube, the one I'd felt so confident about. And then I forgot the first word entirely, executed OV instead of OA and DA instead of DT, and failed to solve the last cube. So my final score was 3 out of 4 in 31 minutes and 34 seconds, which I was still really happy about. Meanwhile, Trevor only solved 2 cubes and beat me. I'm barely refraining from a rant about M-blind scoring right now, so let's move on to my final event of the day, 5x5. We're just going to pretend 3 blind doesn't exist. I knew beforehand that my PRs were really good for me, so there was no way I would double PR and also get a PB average by 2.2 seconds, my first sub 120. Well, that was it for day 1. I left early so I didn't get to take a part of the 5 blind certificate, but whatever, I don't really care that much about it. On Sunday, I went to Bay Area Side Events Day, and boy, were there some weird events. It started off normally with 3x3, where I counted a 9 and a 14 in the same round. Next with 3x3 one side. I'm still not sure if the organizers were just non-cubers who really wanted to compete, but this went pretty terribly for me. After this was 2x2, one of my 2 chances to extend my PR streak. Here's how it went.
8 seconds. Okay, I'll take it.
At this point, all I needed to secure a personal record was a 2.39 single on one of these next 2 solves.
Yeah, they just do 5 solves.
Yes! PR streak lives! PR streak lives! I had done it. I had a guaranteed PR, and while I ended up getting my worst solve next, it was fine. Now I didn't have to stress about the rest of the day. I also made finals, which is cool. These next 2 are Magic and Master Magic, which are extremely stupid and went extremely poorly. Well, at least Magic did, but Master Magic was pretty crazy. I started with 2 9s, which are bad, but then I got a 5. Then another one, which was PB, and another one. I didn't really think much of this average because of my regular Magic fail, and it was time to eat lunch. After lunch came 2-man mini Guildford, where Trevor and I teamed up to solve these 10 puzzles, and we got a time of just over 2.5 minutes. Now, why would you ever solve a 3x3 if you could just do it with oven mitts? This is a question that no one should ask ever, and whoever did is a psychopath because this is the worst event to ever exist. I had not practiced at all, and this was one of the most painful experiences of my life. Not just solving, but also staffing it, because not a lot of people brought oven mitts. But once it was finally over, it was time for 3x3 one-handed, which was one of Trevor's last chances to keep his streak alive. Luckily, he got a PR single to clutch it up, and if he hadn't, it would have been over for him. I also got double PRs, but didn't really care that much. FTO for WCA. That's all I have to say, other than the fact that I forgot to practice and now I suck at FTO. My final event of the day was 2x2 finals, and it went pretty well with a 2.77 average that's now my PR2. But remember when I mentioned my Master Magic average? Well, I found out right before awards that I'd somehow gotten 3rd place, so I guess that's my second podium that weekend that didn't count for anything. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and tell me what video you want to see me make next down in the comments. See you all next time. Bye.